Hello, Steve White, Steve Arts 89. Well, there's talk that Doctor Who is cancelled already at Disney. These are just rumours, but I wouldn't be surprised. Now, basically, the show did okay in the ratings. Apparently, it was number 7 on Disney, their top 10, but it didn't do as well in the US as they wanted it to. And I called this. I predicted this. This is not hard to see happening. Basically, Disney did the usual stupid studio thing where they just think they can make people pay something by spending a lot of money. It's like, well, if we spend a lot of money on this production and we spend a lot to promote it, it'll be a big hit and we'll make a lot of money, because that's how basic they are. And they don't realise that this show is established. It has an audience. It has a niche. It had a home in the BBC and the ABC in Australia, and they came and they took it from the ABC. It's gone. It's exclusive to Disney Plus here in Australia, so no one's watching it unless you've got Disney Plus. And in the US, they prioritise, everywhere else, they prioritise Disney Plus, and the BBC still has it, but it's secondary. So they basically sold it to Disney temporarily while still having like the rights to screen it second. So they did all that. I don't know why. And Disney just seemed to think if they, spend a lot of money on the production and put it on Disney Plus and promoted it, that it would suddenly find this new American audience that it never had before. Like the way they did that with Star Trek. They thought, hey, we'll put a J.J. Abrams budget on the show and make it look modern like a new show and do all these things and make it just like all the other generic science fiction shows, and it will have this big audience. And it never really happened because these shows are already established with a fan base. You can only get so many new people in. If there are people who are interested who aren't seeing it because it's not being promoted enough, you'll get them, but you're not going to get someone who doesn't like sci-fi. You're not going to get someone who doesn't like Star Trek or Star Wars or Doctor Who, because they already know what it is, or they think they know what it is. And part of the problem here is they're treating it like a new show. And I can't believe the BBC allowed them to actually rebrand it as season 1, like the other 60-something years of shows don't count and all the other seasons don't count. And they're treating it like a new show, and like all other new shows, if it doesn't make a lot of money or bring in a lot of new subscribers, they'll just get rid of it. Because often what they do with streaming is they'll just make a new show to try and get new people to come in, and if it doesn't get a big audience, they'll just cancel it, because they'll just use that money to produce another new show to bring people in. All they care about is getting new subscribers in. They don't care about people who are watching shows that already exist week to week. As far as they're concerned, they've already got you. They're just trying to get new people. And this show didn't bring in any new people. This version of Doctor Who didn't bring in any new people because it was already available, and all the people who wanted to watch Doctor Who were watching it. And they're not going to make new people watch it just because it's being produced in America on a bigger budget. So that stupid studio thinking has hurt Doctor Who, because now they have to go backwards and they have to pull it back and try and find a way now to go back to making it on a smaller budget at the BBC. Because if it's being cancelled at Disney, they already produced the first 2 seasons and it's basically cancelled unless it finally, finds with another 8 episodes. But what did they expect with 7 episodes, because they show 2 in 1 week? I mean, that's no time to grow an audience. But yeah, if it doesn't grow an audience by the end of the second year, it's not coming back. And of course, there's talk that Ncuti Gatwa is going to leave because he's finished his part. If he doesn't get any sort of concrete word that he's going to be doing a 3rd season, he's going to have to take other offers. So there's talk that it's open-ended, but that's just speculation, I think, at this point. That's just open-ended, that they left it open-ended. And I'm like, well, okay, they could always just not see the regeneration and just have Doctor Who saying he's regenerated, or, I don't know, show some black guy from behind regenerating. There are ways to get around Ncuti not coming back. But yeah, so this is totally predictable, and the reality is, I mean, the BBC can just go back to producing it themselves on a lot smaller budget, but that's not really going to matter because the fans don't love it because of a budget. The fans don't love it because it's a premium streaming show, so the same people who watched it before and have watched it their whole lives and for generations are going to keep watching it if you make it and put it on the BBC. So on one level, it would be embarrassing on one level, but it really will establish this as a British show, a cult show, and it's never going to be mainstream. Why they didn't know that, I don't know. But the same thing with Star Trek. It's never going to be mainstream. It's always going to be niche, and trying to turn it into that is what ruined it. The movies, they were fun, but they weren't Star Trek. The TV shows aren't Star Trek either. They are just generic Trek brand TV shows, and they don't have any of the elements that made Star Trek special or unique that fans really loved and became addicted to and made it a phenomenon. It's just like another drama in space now, just like any of the other generic science fiction shows. So yeah, so Doctor Who, cancelled, done, unless suddenly the ratings shoot up in the second season. It's not coming back, and that was easily predictable. The only issue was what was their expectation. If they had a low expectation, it might keep going. If they had a high expectation and it didn't, blow the roof off, it was not coming back for a third season. That's why they filmed 2 seasons back to back like that. But I'm going to go. Feel free to share, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think. I hope it dies in the US and they bring it back to the BBC and the ABC so I can watch Doctor Who on ABC again like I have my whole life. Not bitter.